After her success in Australia, Kylie travelled to London to meet record producer Pete Waterman.
I always remember I sat down with Kylie right at the very beginning and said, if this goes off, you know, when I Should Be So Lucky really started to go, you know, it's going to go off like a skyrocket. Let's hold on to the stick, because where it's going to go, I haven't got a clue.
Kylie's first single with Stock Aitken and Waterman was I Should Be So Lucky.
It is, in fact, the anthem for all of pop. You know, I mean, it's just, there it is, right there.
As our first single, I thought it was great because I'm sure not just me, but anybody else that liked it. You kind of looked at it and it was Charlene, you know. It wasn't Kylie Minogue, it was Charlene singing a good pop song.
You know, you couldn't sit down and write I Should Be So Lucky. It's a physical impossibility. Well, you know, you get few moments of true inspiration, and Kylie happened to be the catalyst for that thing to happen.
When a pop song does in 3 minutes what a rock band spends a whole concept album trying to achieve, which is, you know, surrender, you know, really that's all we're all on about. I get jealous.
It became, for 5 years, the way to do pop music.
It wasn't trendy, but it was what everybody wanted. It was the most popular commercial music there was, and it filled dance floors. It was like the ultimate in pop party music.
It wasn't even so much the songs, it was just something magical about Kylie. Every girl loves Kylie, and all the guys loved Kylie, and she just had that star quality, I think, that very few people have. You just wanted to watch her.
Because she's an actress, she learns a song in literally 5 minutes, and you know, in 5 minutes she's giving it you back in her own style. I mean, that's right from I Should Be So Lucky. We always knew that we had an amazing voice, and that's what we needed, and Kylie has an amazing voice.
I was working with the best there was at that time. I didn't realize it, but yeah, and I worked very well within their system, because that's what I did. That's what I was accustomed to, is turning up in strange circumstances or a strange environment, and they say, this is what you're doing, goes like this, ready, off you go. So I think I was a good piece of the machinery.
Kylie was a huge success. She was on the front page of every newspaper. Everyone was talking about her. She was the first female artist to have 13 successive top 10 entries, and at only 20 years old, broke the record for being the youngest woman to top the album chart. It was during this time that Kylie started dating her Neighbours co-star, Jason Donovan. Jason had joined PWL in an attempt to follow Kylie's chart success.
Jason was arguably even bigger than Kylie in actual popularity. He never sold as many records, but as far as screaming fans and madness, Jason was even bigger than Kylie was.
I think everything that Jason and I did together, we just took in our stride. I think that's why we did end up going out with each other, because I can't imagine anyone else that would have understood what I was going through or what he was going through at the time. We somehow managed to keep it, most of it, to ourselves.
I think there are two people on TV that everybody was really rooting for to really be together, you know, in real life, not just on TV. So with that record, that was it.
It was fun, you know, it was sort of peeking into our lives a bit, taking the piss a bit about Kylie and Jason, and the images you see at the end in the blue screen that comes through were our photos, were our holiday photos. So there's a bit of personal touch in there as well. Very cheesy though, wasn't it, really? The relationship between Kylie and I was very hard to keep a secret. Why give the press what they want when they're going to twist it anyway? And when you're at that level of fame, it's best to be a little bit mysterious.
I didn't even know there was a relationship going on. I just thought they were good mates.
It's 1990 and Kylie stars in her first feature film, The Delinquent. Set in Australia during the 50s, it tells the tale of two teenagers whose relationship is frowned upon by the locals.
I hoped to do a good job, and I was so nervous, because at that time there was a lot of people just waiting for me to fail, to put a foot wrong, and I'm proud of what I did in that film.
I saw Kylie probably act for the first time in The Delinquents, and I can remember that, and remember being really impressed with her. The film, unfortunately, was not a great film, but I remember I was really quite impressed with what she did in that.
The films never really did her justice. I thought, I understand why she tried to do them, but they were always B-rated, and she was always A-rated to me. They just never. She was better than the films, always.
Just after Delinquents was when I started dating Michael Hutchence, and so that was around that time of change, and I think if you look at the videos chronologically, you go and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, something's happened. I was so eager to put more of myself into my work at that point, and one of the first things I could really get my mitts on was the image, and that video was shot in Australia, so I was miles away from PWR, and it really is a point in my career that it's quite obvious that something's happened.
Better the Devil You Know, from summer of 1990, is a record that could hold its own against a lot of the kind of cooler dance records that were coming out at the time, and that, I think, kind of set the agenda for what Kylie was going to do after that.
It's one of those songs that actually artists like, because it's a clever song. It's actually written about Michael Hutchence. Her relationship with Michael Hutchence and Jason Donovan.
We broke up and she went out with Michael, so it was splashed everywhere. I was the one that copped that. That was a hard time for me. Having spent personal time with her, professional time with her, and then her sort of almost moving on to the guy that I wanted to be. That was pretty hard.
This is a guy who was seen as a bit of a loose cannon, was sexually apparently very adventurous, was someone who, your mother would be disgusted by if you brought them home. And in that way, he was a great change from Jason Donovan.
Well, as an artist, I looked up to him, and there was no comparison between what I had done and experienced and what he had done and experienced. And there's such different worlds anyway. But he would never really, I can't remember him ever really telling me what to do or how to do it. But just encouraging me to be myself, and I think in the long run, not at that time, but in the bigger story, that I'm an artist.
Hundreds of mourners packed St Andrew's Cathedral in Sydney this morning for the funeral of the rock star Michael Hutchence.
500 blue irises adorned the casket of Michael Hutchence as Australia, in the searing heat, said farewell to the rock star, one of its most famous sons. Many of the mourners, like Tom Jones, were among the congregation's celebrity list. The singer Kylie Minogue and Jason Donovan, stars who had known Michael Hutchence since childhood.
He was just an incredible person to know and to be around and to be influenced and inspired by. I think that the biggest lesson he taught me was just to be myself and to be proud.
The Waterman years, as you call them, it goes up there, stuff like Shocked, and you realise that kind of like, she's changing in like an incredibly short period of time. I remember Nick in our band actually saying, she's taking control, she's changing into something else. Really, you have to take control of your life, your pop life, and that often means taking it out of the hands of other people.